Let's start looking at some reactions and some news. So, first and foremost, where do I want to start? Well, I guess we're kind of already on the COVID talk thing. Might as well talk about this. Some of you guys are going to be mad at me because I don't think you're going to like what I have to say. About the COVID, you'll like it, but about the other parts, I don't think that you won't. We'll see. Let me get this shared. Just got to get COVID. Got to get the Discord set up for the night.
Just take a moment.
All right. So, this article has been going around. Everybody's kind of talking about it because it's so ridiculous. That is, people who skip their COVID vaccine are at a higher risk of traffic accidents, according to a new study.
Now, there's no way this makes sense, right?
It makes perfect sense. But the way that they're reporting it is so fucking stupid. It's not stupid, actually. It's intentional. Right? Like, without even touching, I haven't looked at it yet. I'm like, you're doing a live reaction. Yes, Roland, thank you. Who's least likely to get the vaccine? People that are less risk averse, and young men who also happen to be less risk averse. These are the people that get in car accidents. It's a fucking Venn diagram. It means nothing. That would be like the media coming out and saying people who live in areas, people who live near palm trees likely to be older. And then like tried to make it seem like palm trees were aging people.
They make your skin all wrinkly.
Right. It's fucking stupid. It's just random fucking correlation. So if you pass on getting the COVID vaccine, pretty much alley cat, you might be a bit more likely to get into a car accident. No, you're not. That's not how that works. Or at least according to a new study from the American Journal of Medicine, yada, 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 16% of whom hadn't received the COVID vaccine. They found that the unvaccinated people were 72% more likely to be involved in a severe traffic crash in which at least one person was transported to the hospital. Yeah, it's just fear-mongering to make dum-dums go get the jab.
Also, what if like that person who got taken to the hospital was someone who got T-boned and nothing was their fault? It's just, bad luck, really.
And here's the even sneakier thing, is they actually throw something in that might be causal next. It's a nudge for dum-dums. You got it. That's similar to the increased risk of car crashes for people with sleep apnea. Though only about half that of people who abuse alcohol, researchers found. So they sneak in two causal things, right? Because sleep apnea causes car crashes. Why? Because you don't get a good night's rest. You don't get a good night's rest, then you're driving tired. Driving tired is distracted driving. That like sleep apnea can cause you to get into car accidents. Right? And obviously drinking and driving is kind of the same situation. The excess risk of car crash posed by unvaccinated drivers, quote, exceeds the safety gains from modern automobile engineering advances and also poses risks to other road users, the authors wrote. No, it doesn't. That's batshit insane correlation versus causation. There is no inherent risk to the unvaccinated driver. What you're talking about is young men and people who are not risk averse are the types of people that are like, fuck that, I'm not getting the vaccine. I'll take my chances with the virus. Yes. Yeah, no. I'm just reading it myself. Like I was like, I have to read this like live. Like, I can't like know about it ahead of time. Of course, skipping a COVID vaccine does not mean that someone will get into a car crash. Instead, the authors theorize that people who resist public health recommendations might also neglect basic road safety guidelines. So now that we're 5 paragraphs if you count this initial sentence in, they admit that it's correlation and not causation. And then how do they word it? They don't word it about like risk averse people, right? Or they don't word it like, yeah, there's a category of people demographically that are like inexperienced, aggressive drivers, like young men, but also happen to be the people that are least likely to get the vaccine because they're also the most likely to be more harmed by the vaccine than the virus itself. Yeah, it's bad shit. Hold on, let me zoom in on this for you guys. I apologize. If you're like on a computer and you actually want to read along, as opposed to like on your phone so you can actually see it. Why would they ignore the rules of the road? Distrust of the government, a belief in freedom, misconception of daily risks, faith in natural protection, antipathy toward regulation, poverty, misinformation, a lack of resources, and personal beliefs are potential reasons proposed by the authors. This is literally them just throwing word salad to try and paint unjabbed people as like danger to the community. And here's another example of how they're dangerous. As opposed to just admitting, yeah, young dudes are shitty drivers and speed and are aggressive. They're also unvaxxed.
Stop describing my driving habits, all right?
The findings are significant enough that primary care doctors should consider counseling unvaccinated patients on traffic safety. No, they're fucking not, you batshit fucking loonies. Your primary care physician shouldn't be involved in trying to educate 22-year-old dudes on being safer drivers. The two are not linked that way, you fucking dipshit. And also, this is just doctor worship. This is just inventing a new priestly class of the woke. The doctors are these great high-minded people. Yeah, cancer researchers at the top of their field with like thousands of citations. Those are individuals that are extremely competent and whose opinions should be valued. Primary care physicians are just people that went to school and spent a lot of money and had slightly better grades and slightly higher IQ. They're not fucking experts on fucking safe driving techniques. Yeah, what the fuck does car insurance have to do with medical history? I think I'll go to a different provider, thanks. Fucking Nair socks. I need to make sure my driver's ed teacher is vaccinated so I don't get bad advice. Oh my God. And insurance companies might base changes to insurance policies on vaccination data, the author suggests. Here's where you're all going to hate me. I think that's based as fuck. I think it's absolutely good that insurance companies, if they happen to be aware of your vaccination status, discriminate on you based upon that data.
As well shall nobody nothing.
Here's why. Okay, hear me out. Don't run away. All right, just hear me out for a couple minutes. Okay? Insurance companies are a business. And as a business, they're trying to make money. The whole point is to make profit. Okay? If there is any explanatory power, because correlational data is important here, because they're not punishing you by charging you more money, which, by the way, they wouldn't do. What they would do is they would actually lower insurance premiums for vaccinated drivers, because this is a data point that states that you're less likely to get into a car accident that's fatal. Okay? I think it's based as fuck if a company, like an insurance company, uses all of the data they have available to use correlational analysis to determine your risk factor for getting into an accident, regardless of what you like about it or not. I don't give a fuck about a dehumanizing statistic. If it makes the insurance companies more money, right? And all of them make more money because they have more accurate data to determine whether or not you're going to get into a car accident. That means other companies are going to want to compete. And because the profit is increased because of better data, someone else will cut into their profits to offer cheaper insurance. And so the more data, regardless of whether or not you like that data, if that data is correlational and allows them to meaningfully tell the difference, right? That allows them to gain in profits, that means the competitive nature of the market will lower insurance premiums across the board. I don't give a fuck if they use racial data. I don't care if they use age data. I don't care if they use married, unmarried data, like whatever data they have on you. If it gives them more success in accurately predicting whether or not you're going to get into a car accident and how much of a risk you are, that means they can make more profit by knowing ahead of time how much money they need to have in the coffers, how much liquid assets they need to have, how much their teams they need to have, how many employees they need to have, etc. And that means the competitive nature of the market will lower everyone's insurance premiums. And that's a good thing. I want cheaper insurance because companies are better able to predict car accidents. So as much as all of the rest of this is utter fucking bullshit, you should celebrate any data correlational that gives insurance companies more information about your likelihood to be involved in a car accident, because that means lower insurance premiums for everybody across the board. Yeah. Also, there's that risk factor, EOD, right? Like if a company wants your medical records in order for you to get car insurance and you tell them to fuck off, and then they don't give you the discounts, and another company doesn't care about that, so they don't offer those discounts, then the market will determine what's more valuable. The information that the insurance company gets to better and more accurately determine, or your desire for privacy whilst paying a little bit more for insurance. And if the information's really good, it'll go one way or the other. You should have choice. Some companies shouldn't take that at all. And it costs a little bit more money. They don't ask you for your fucking medical records, so you're willing to pay that money. And if it comes down to $2.20 a month more, you're like, yeah, I'll pay $2.20 so I don't have to give my fucking medical records to, Nationwide to insure my fucking Cherokee. Then yeah. I knew you guys weren't going to like that. I even lost a couple of you. I can see the numbers in chat. Assuming that these numbers mean literally anything, because we started stream with 14 viewers and then went down to 2. And we're all of a sudden this week we're, averaging in the 20s instead of averaging in the 30s, close to the 40s. So I don't know what naughty list we pissed off Twitch with where they hide our shit. So it Maybe seems like we lost some of you. Even seeing my tweets. Who fucking knows off-site behavior?
That'd be pretty funny though.
Fuck this song. Let's go to lo-fi, actually. I mean, can anybody really agree with that? I mean, do you understand what I'm saying there? Hey, Canadian Pioneer. That damn self-report tweet? Oh my God. Which one? Pineapple pizza one you guys made me tweet out?
Didn't that one's kind of gained some traction, hasn't it?
Dude, it pissed off a lot of people. It was funny. Talking about this fucking article where they're doing everything they can to demonize people that are unvaccinated as dangerous drivers, and they even want and it's like a danger to society because of all the crazy shit they believe. And then on top of that, suggesting that doctors educate unvaccinated people on safe driving. Oh, the barbarian one? Oh yeah. Yo, fucking Aristocracy was down.
She said it on the channel last night.
Yeah, she said she loved it.
Made her lol.
I think the real problem is that like people don't know that like Aristocracy and I are kind of friends. So like, and that we DM regularly, and nothing untoward.
There's also people who just want to like get some recognition off of like coming at you.
Yeah, probably that too. Cloud. It's funny when you get a little bit of clout. The cloud chasers come out, even though this week, Twitch has decided that we should nuke our clout. I understand what you're getting at, and the market will decide, but there is also the point that several related correlative metrics are still not accurate predictors, so I might end up having no value. Yeah, and if it has no value, I mean, if it's statistically significant, it's going to have some value. If it's statistically significant, it's predictive to some degree as like a company policy and metrics for insurance. Like, I'm sorry, it's going to have some value. Now, what that value is and how predictive it is, that's crazy, man. Giving antipsychotics, Jesus Christ. It might in truth be the other way around, where the vaxx are a bigger danger behind the wheel of a car. I mean, that's possible, but incredibly unlikely. I mean, anything's possible, whenever a study comes out. Studies, unless they're done in like a pure laboratory environment, like there's always kind of like that room for error. And obviously these people had like, some pretty extreme bias. So I kind of want to take a look at the study here in a minute and see how they did it. But I mean, it looks like they're just looking at traffic reports and like medical records. So like, unless there's something weird with like the way they selected their data, I don't know. It's probably just true. It's probably just a statement of fact. But again, it's not about, the problem is that it has nothing to do with the jab. It just has to be who's the two people that don't get jabbed. The people who don't get jabbed are people that are less risk averse and young men. Just a thought coming from the data of sudden death. There's not enough people suddenly dying for that to really be an issue. Two sorts of people that are crazed drivers are British Columbians and Albertians. They are fucking nuts. I have a theory about driving, right? And one of the things that I notice is the worst place to drive, in America at least, what I've noticed, the worst place to drive is actually tourist areas. And the reason I think is because a lot of times we like to think people from another area are really dangerous drivers, even though they don't have higher incident reports from traffic. Like the data doesn't bear that out. And so what I think it is that different cultures in different parts of a country drive differently. And so the other people are seen as a danger when they're in that area because they drive based off of the way that people drive from where they're from, right? So like, there's this phrase in Virginia and in the South called a California stop. Because for the longest time in California, it was legal so long as you came to a stop sign if you like slowed to like less than 5 miles an hour and you went. But in like the East in Virginia, it was always illegal if your vehicle doesn't come to a complete stop, right? And so it's like, if you're the type of person, if you're from California and you come over here, you might just do a California stop, not realizing that you have to come to a complete stop. People are like, holy shit, that's dangerous, because everyone's expecting you to come to a complete stop. Especially if you go deeper in the South, where like people are too goddamn nice when they drive, and you get to like an intersection, and instead of just the person with the right of way fucking going, they all like look at each other and be like, you go, no, you go, right? And it's like people from up north, it's like, that shit's dangerous. What the fuck is wrong with you? I have the right of way. We don't fucking communicate with hand signals like goddamn Native Americans doing fucking smoke signals from on high to figure out whether or not, I'm supposed to go next. Like, I go next because I have the right of way, you dipshit, right? And then we see somebody from up north driving and we're like, dude, the speed limit's 65. Why are you doing 78? What the fuck is wrong with you? And then the people from New York are like, hey, asshole, why are you doing 65 in the passing lane? Right? I think we just drive differently based off of where we are. And this gets really highlighted when you go to a tourist area where like people from all over the country that drive differently and don't know the area all come to the same place and like drive differently, not knowing the area.
That makes sense. Have you ever seen some of those Southeast Asian driving videos where it'll be a huge intersection and no one stops? People walk across and drive across and like do turns and merges all at once and like not a problem.
Dude, it's like, honestly, it's terrifying. I see that shit, especially when you see people like walking through it. And you're like,
apparently the rule is just maintain a constant speed and direction and like everyone will move around you and you're fine. But if you fuck up, then you're gonna die.
Yeah, it's super fucking sus. I know I ain't coming in here and hearing a Virginia man complain about drivers because I have a vivid hate for y'all here in Maryland. See? I'm not comparing about what I'm saying is that like people just drive differently based off of where they live. And I think people from areas, when they see people from other areas come in and they see them driving differently, they get mad about the way that they drive, but really it's just people drive different.
Also, I drove through Baltimore before, and I don't think anyone from Maryland should bitch about any other state.
Baltimore is a hellhole. Baltimore is like one of those places where it's like, if you had to choose between a third world country's capital and like living in Baltimore, it'd be a hard choice. You know what I mean?
No, I just picked the other country just for a, unique experience at least.
It's like if I had to choose between living in Pyongyang, North Korea, like with like a good government job, or like living in Baltimore, I don't know what would be worse. You know what I mean?
I think Pyongyang.
Well, I said with like a good mid-level government job. You know what I mean? As long as I keep my mouth shut.
I still think Pyongyang.
Yeah, Pyongyang's probably, that might have been too extreme.
Now, if you said like Hanoi or maybe
right.
Maybe an African coastal city, like a capital city on the coast, like Cape Town or Baltimore, pick one.
You know what? Both of them uniquely dangerous to be a white person in, right?
I didn't, that was totally on accident.
Both of them, I would rather be black living in that city than white living in that city. And there's not too many places in the world where I would prefer to be black, right? Like there's only a couple places in the world where I would be like, if I had to choose, you know what I mean? I would choose.
If I did it.
Fabian, I'm curious if you have an opinion on Malthusianism. Wait for it.
I don't know. I drove through Utah. I didn't have any trouble driving there. But, I mean, if anyone's watched It's Always Sunny, when Mac and Dennis moved to the suburbs and Dennis, gets road rage, that's about how I drive all the time.
Yeah. There you go. My opinion is very well summed up in this tweet that I did only a few hours ago. If Malthusians are so concerned about overpopulation, I suggest they start with themselves and seek Canadian healthcare. That's my opinion.
Try turning yourself off again.
Yeah, have you tried turning it off and on again? No, don't worry about the on part, just the off part.
Well, we can't turn it on until we turn it off, so let's just start there.
Yeah, let's just start there. Yeah, I'm with you. So moving forward in this trash-ass article, first responders may also consider taking precautions to protect themselves from COVID when responding to traffic crashes. Dog, when was this article written? This is a fairly new article, right? Like it was just written.
Days ago.
Right? Yeah, December 13th, 20. This reads like an article from like 2020. Or like, early 2021.
It is weird to think that, but yeah.
The author said, and it's more likely that a driver is unvaccinated than vaccinated. Oh my God. Make sure you wear your mask when responding to trying to save someone's life, pulling them out of a burning vehicle, because you might get the coof. You might get the coof.
And Good Samaritan laws don't cover that shit.
Yeah, this is like you have to be woke as fuck to believe this shit has any merit or value whatsoever. This is batshit insane. The findings suggest that unvaccinated adults need to be careful indoors with other people and outside with surrounding traffic. What do we need, a fucking bumper sticker on your vehicle now that says jabbed, like a fucking Tinder profile? Jabbed and boosted, vaxxed and boosted. Oh, okay. I can tailgate this person. The fuck does this even mean? I'm gonna roll down my window and be like, put your mask on. You know what I mean? Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Has there been any talk about police taking COVID precautions? I thought they didn't care about the prison population. I don't.
No, they don't. Just play the game Outlast. You'll know no one cares about the prisoners.
This isn't the first time that researchers have examined the link between behavior and vaccination status. Among young adults, a 2021 study published in the Journal of Bioeconomics found a correlation between self-reported risky driving and having skipped their flu vaccine. It examined the survey responses of more than 100,000 Canadians. Of course, this story was originally featured on Fortune.com. They have comments.
Of course they do.
The top comment, and when we set the clocks ahead in the spring, it often rains that week. Therefore, changing the clocks makes it rain. Oh, that's such a beautiful top comment. I went with the coconuts, the palm trees.
Someone's going with well, it must be because rural people are shittier drivers and didn't get vaccinated.
I can confirm that rural people cannot parallel park. I will say that. If that's one of the metrics we're judging whether or not you're a shitty driver, then like city people might come out ahead. Just throwing that out there. People from the country cannot fucking parallel park. And it is hilarious to watch sometimes.
Do you know why, though?
Because you don't have to. Like, that's the only reason why.
Parallel parking is worthless.
I'm just saying, it is a skill that is necessary in driving.
Only if you're in a shitty city.
What? You mean, like, what's... what?
Cities that require you to parallel park are across the board just trash.
So all cities are shitty?
Yeah.
Also, most cities you can pay to park. It's pretty rare that you find a city that requires you to parallel park. It's just cheaper to parallel park.
What if all those spots are taken? What if all those paid spots are taken? Then you have to parallel park.
It's usually the other way around. It's usually all the parallel parking spots are taken. It's the paid parking that.
No. I think people hate parallel parking more.
Yeah, that's not how that works. People in the city just learn how to parallel park so they don't have to spend money to fucking park.
Well, we'll never know for sure, will we?
Bitch, we can go any day of the fucking week into Richmond and look at the parking decks and then look at the fucking sides of the road and see how many parking spots are available in both places. In any given area.
Deek? Can we go to a nice parking deek?
Real talk, my state took parallel parking out of its driver's license requirement after I was done with it. So, Blight, the person that came in here to say, I know you're not talking about Virginia drivers. And you motherfuckers don't know how to parallel park. Just saying. You just watched a clip from our Twitch channel, Fabian Liberty. If you like content like this, please like and subscribe here on YouTube, or go ahead and give us a follow on twitch.tv/Fabian Liberty.